going on with Florida State and their foolishness right now. Um, they claim they're gonna have some by the 14th, which was yesterday, and surprise, surprise, nothing happened. They're still in the conference because of this thing called the grant of rights, which still many people do not understand. Now, I don't know if they're going to be in the conference for the long haul, 10 years, like 10, 15 years from now, since we got like what, how many more years? 13 more years in this bad boy.
Yeah.
So I think the bridge has been burnt, but nevertheless, they ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Jeff, as an ACC fan, I know you have to be embarrassed by Florida State's behavior.
Well, I mean, uh, they've made it clear where they're upset. But the thing is every ACC school is dealing with the same thing, and you know what they're doing really isn't accomplishing much because they're not gonna get additional revenue from the conference, for the TV ratings or whatever. I mean, Wake Forest was putting out statistics of how they were, one of the highest traffic schools this year too. So I mean,
Okay,
any
right,
numbers they put together like that, are not going to change anyone's opinion. The SEC and Big Ten know that if they did invite Florida State, that or anyone else in the what's left of the Pac-12 or Big 12 or ACC, they would probably take an invite. So I mean, kind
sure,
of repeating it over and over again, this doesn't really accomplish very much because you're in the conference right now. We know that they're dissatisfied with the revenue. I mean, even you and I will admit that's a problem for the ACC. They got to work
right.
on, revenue. Then that should be Jim Phillips' number one, two, three, four, and five priority. But I just keep repeating it, every week. It's not helping anything, and it's not a good look for them because we know it already, and and now it's just a matter of like, hey, we know that they want to try to get the revenue up. We know it's a problem. We know they're unhappy. But you're in the ACC right now. Another a year's passed. You know they're going to be in there through the duration of this year, and if you're being realistic, it's probably going to be at least closer to the end of the decade. So I mean, what we're finding out is that the media networks are tapped out.
Right.
They don't have any more money. I mean, there was an article today on CBS Sports that basically said that the SEC and Big Ten have no interest in expanding right now.
That's
We
right.
saw what happened with Oregon and Washington. Fox paid them half price to join their league. And if Florida State or anyone else were to join one of the two conferences, they're going to take a massive hit.
Yeah.
Anyways, um, the Big 12 expanded by four Power Five teams and did not get another penny to their contract. These
Right.
networks, they're tapped out.
Right.
So they're not going to pay. They're not going to pay more, another $70 million for Florida State. And if they probably come in pairs, so we'll say Florida State and Clemson. They're not going to pay 50 million dollars just to have those two teams added to the SEC or the Big Ten.
I think to your point about the Big 12, a lot of people misunderstand the fact that with those four teams joining, um, yeah, four teams, that they assume people erroneously assume that ESPN gave them so much more money because Colorado, Arizona State, and Utah are getting a full cut of the Big 12 contract. Which what happened was Brett Yormark, another shrewd move by that commissioner.
Yeah,
Like I
for
said,
sure.
he's the commissioner of the year, if not the decade, for his moves. Um, he put in the contract that if they were to take another Power Five school, that a Power Five school would be guaranteed to get a full cut from ESPN and Fox. So that's another great move, which is why like because Yormark had an eye for the Pac-12 because he was looking to do the same what the Pac-12 should have done to the Big 12 way back when. That's kill the conference. So
Yeah.
that's what he did. But yeah, man, Florida State, this thing hurts on a lot of levels because, as you probably know and listeners know, I grew up a Florida State football fan because my mom's family was from Tallahassee, Florida, where my great grandmother used to live. You could see the Florida State's campus from the hill where she lived on. We used to go there a lot. Like my dad would run the track, and we would be on campus there as kids, watching my dad run. Sometimes run with them. So my allegiance to Florida State football goes back over 40 years. I'm aging myself, but still over 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. The very first college football T-shirt I ever bought, going back to Bobby Bowden days, was Florida State. You know,
Right.
was a Florida State T-shirt. I mean, I love the tomahawk chop. I mean, it's a great school. Wonderful tradition. I mean, and nobody faults them at all, for trying to do what's best for them. That there's not a single person in the world I would say anything is wrong with that. They have to look out for themselves, just like everyone else does. But just the point of just repeating yourself week after week, I don't really see what it accomplishes.
Yeah, and the one last thing about Florida State, man, is that, and I could go on about the fans still having no clue about what the grant of rights is, because he keeps saying over and over and over again, they'll figure out a way of this, they'll figure out a way to get out of it next year. I'm like, dude, just shut the hell up. You don't know. Just I wish people would just Google grant of rights, and they say talk about the Big 12 a lot for some reason. Don't they know? Didn't they know that the ACC modeled their grant of rights after the Big 12s, which is why Texas and Oklahoma had to wait till like a year early to get out of it, because they knew that was pretty ironclad. They knew it would be costly. So I just wish people would just do their homework instead of just blow over it and sound like an idiot. I'm turning blue in the face by just talking about it every stinking time, but people still have no clue what grant of rights are, and they just I'm just doing it. But anyway, one